Good morning, everybody. I toast to you and all you do. I hope you're having a fantastic day, morning, evening, whenever it is that you watch this video. Today we're going to talk about the full moon coming up tomorrow or the next day, kind of depending on where you live. It's the March full moon in Libra. So I was doing some research, looking into some of the astrology people that I follow and what they're saying and their predictions. Some of them are really, I want to say clinical, but that's not really the right word. They're just very like they have charts drawn on the wall. Like, here's where all of your angles are and here's everything that's going on. Just to kind of get an idea of what they're saying. And then there's the other side of it where the people that I follow who are very, very witchy. And so they're talking about the worm moon. And it was after I watched the second or third, I was kind of disappointed. And then I was hesitant about making this video at all because I don't like necessarily going against what other people are saying. But then I was like, I have to put out the correct information. So the worm moon, as defined ancestrally or even by Gerald Gardner, I don't know if he called it the worm moon. Let's look on my notes. So it would be, the chaste moon is what he would have referred to the worm moon as. So as defined by them, that is the last full moon of the first quarter of the seasons. So that would have actually been the February full moon. This year, the full moons fall really late in the month. As you can see, it's going to be the 27th or 28th, depending on where you are, when this full moon comes. So it's almost April. But again, this is where our modern Gregorian calendar does not line up with the ancestral calendars. So when we start naming our moons for our ancestral purposes, they begin the first full moon after the summer or winter solstice. So for here locally, that would have been December 29th, would have been the first full moon. And that would have been the snow moon? No, the wolf moon or the hunger moon. And that's that late moon. So then the January full moon would have technically been the snow moon, and then the February moon would have been the worm moon. And now we are actually already into spring. So this first spring moon is the pink moon, or the seed moon, because we have already transferred into that next series. So I was kind of disappointed as I watched all of the videos. They are all wonderful about the worm moon. They're also, really related to this new energy and all of that stuff because we are into spring. However, it's not the worm moon. We're past that. The worm moon comes before the spring equinox. And then the next full moon is where we are now, is the chaste moon. Or no, the seed moon or the pink moon. So if it's called the pink moon, because all of the little flowers are starting to bloom, I would call it the yellow moon here locally because our daffodils are starting to come up. We're starting to see those first little flowers. I've got those obnoxious little purple weeds are already starting to leaf, and put on, they're getting ready to flower soon, which will be fun. And I mean, it makes it easy to identify them in the garden, and my kids like them. So I'm like, yeah, pull the whole plant when you pull that flower. But so we're going to start seeing those early signs of spring. This is the time when we are starting to plant our seeds, depending on where you are. I planted my seeds inside, and then they'll take about 6 to 8 weeks. And by mid-May, we'll be ready to plant them outside, which will be exciting, and this is just part of the process. So, but it's that time. It's time to start counting your seeds, germinating your seeds, getting them ready, preparing them. If you live further south, it's time to start planting. If you live further north, I would probably wait until the next full moon and then start because, well, you know, it's just that kind of weather. And really that does depend on where you are. But aside from that, the energy of this moon is blossoming. It is coming forth. It is forward moving. We're also in the energy of Aries because the sun is in Aries. So that brings in that new beginnings, fresh starts. This is the first. No, it's technically not. That's so. This is why I say in a lot of my videos that there was a person whose full-time job, all they did all day was calculate angles and moons and suns and the earth and the stars and how all of these things aligned. So there are, oh no, see, we're not even, yeah, no, we just started Aries. Okay, so yes, this is the full moon in Aries. I'm sorry, I was having like calculation issues in my brain because normally, no, not ever. Sorry. Normally we just don't have a full moon this late in the month and they're a little bit earlier. So anyways, so again, that's why it's one of those complicated processes and you can't just say, oh, hey, this one person said this one thing and that must be accurate. I really like some of the older people, some of our elders who, you know, started out in the 60s and the 70s and have been doing their charts and their natal charts and their moon charts and all of that stuff ever since then. So they really have all of that kind of stuff down. And then you have to really think about where the moons are. So that's where we also get into the confusions with the blue moon and stuff like that. Here's one thing that cannot be confused though. Supermoon, which is exciting about this next moon that's coming up. The supermoon is an astronomical thing, not an astrological thing. So this is something that's measured by science. And the moon's orbit around the sun, the moon's orbit around the Earth is elliptical and not a perfect circle. So there are times when the moon is very, very close, and there are times when the moon is further away. So it's measured, it's 17% closer. So you see it that much bigger, and it shines that much brighter. It pulls that much harder. Your high tide is going to be higher tide. One of the ladies that I was watching talks about how the moon's gravitational pull also fluctuates the crevices between the tectonic plates. I love science. But in that, releasing more of this earth energy. And therefore, the bond between the earth and moon energy is stronger and more connected. And so we're going to feel that energy stronger. So all of the things that are associated with this moon are going to be that much stronger. Now, this happens all the time. It's not just like every March it's a super, no, this is the moon rotates, it's a thing. It happens several times a year. And it just enhances the moon's energy that much more. So this next full moon will be a little bit stronger. So this full moon is also in Libra. And Libra is a balance and a harmonious sign. Libra is, if it's a serious situation, the Libra will be funny. If it's a funny situation, Libra will bring in the humor or the serious. And just that kind of like balancing internal and external, finding balance, finding harmony, justice, those kind of things are all associated with Libra. And understanding that balance, understanding that harmony, understanding how to find your own balance and harmony and drawing boundaries, those kind of things. Healthy balance. So that's where we're getting from the Libra. So if you notice, there's a lot of things going on with this full moon. It's the first full moon of spring, so it's the seed moon. It's bringing all of those beautiful growth energies. It is the moon of Aries. The sun is in Aries, not the moon is in Aries, but the sun is in Aries. So this time is associated with fresh starts, new beginnings, the warrior who is ready to go and begin and start and do. And then we have the energy of Libra, which is bringing in the balance and harmony. So this is a good time to really kind of address your own boundaries, to think about where you stand and what's around you. This is a time to make sure that your foundation and these boundaries you have set up are going to be productive so that you can start something new. You can start that new whatever it is. When we talk about seeds, yes, we mean this literally. Like if you're planting a garden, this is a good time to start picking your seeds, germinating your seeds. The ones that need to start beforehand inside, get those started. Start planning out your garden. Start throwing down those fertilizers that need to be mixed in ahead of time so they have time to sit. Turn your compost from sitting in the winter. And remember, it's not ready to use. Don't put your compost on your plants too early. Otherwise, you're introducing harmful bacteria, bugs, and things that you don't want. Now you turn over everything you stored from last year. You add dirt to it. You want to mix it in a good ratio. Maybe add leaves, other dry compost. Mix those all together. Turn that. And then in the fall, that will be ready to put on your garden to replenish all of those things throughout the winter, so on and so forth kind of cycle. And you just have that rotating cycle. As a kid, I remember my dad having these piles in the backyard and then a hole. You put the food in the hole and you took the dirt pile from the fresh dirt and you covered it. And then he would come and he would turn, once that was a good mound, he would take that mound and he would turn that mound. He would add the leaves and whatnot. And then we'd have the second mound. And then we'd have another mound that was that turned into with more dirt. And then that mound was ready to be put into the garden and used for stuff. And it was just this like circling rotation of compost. If you have one of those turning composts, it's more modern or whatnot. But just remember, you have to let it sit. You can't yet put food in stuff. If it still looks like food, it can't go in your garden. Anyways, this is just a good time to start thinking about those things, to start planning that. But on the other side, it's also a good time to start doing that with your everything else. If you want to start a new project, if you're working on a new project, if you're doing something that needs that fresh energy, this is a good time to look at that. Libra is going to help to bring in the focus of balance. If you're starting something new for work or business or something like that, is that balanced with the rest of your life? You know, if you're doing some schoolwork or whatever your things are happening, Libra is going to help you to see, do you have healthy boundaries? Do you have balance? Is this stress, blah, blah, all those kind of things and how they play with each other and level each other out. So, and then we have the fresh starts. Let's see if we covered everything. Probably, maybe not. Again, I know a lot of people are going to be talking about how this is the worm moon because that's what happens in March. But we have to think outside the modern calendar. This is the first full moon of spring. We already had the equinox. Now we're into the next season of full moon. So we're on to the pink moon, which gets its name from the wild ground phlox or the herb moss pink, which is grown in the northern United States. It's one of the first flowers to bloom. And I imagine that they're probably starting to see that depending on how much snow they've been getting. I don't know. It's been kind of crazy with the snow. This is when spring has arrived. It's all about fertility, finding self-confidence. This is an empowering moon. It's going to help you to highlight the areas of your life that you should feel empowered in. You are good at things, and this moon is going to say, hey, these are the things you're good at. These are the things you should focus on. Here's where you should move forward. So pay attention to that. Follow your intuition and listen to that. If it's saying, follow this, look at these things, do that and see where it takes you. Don't hesitate. Just listen. And then let's see, in specific to Libra. So Libra is ruled by Venus, which is funny because right now Venus is at opposition to the moon, which means it's on the other side of the charts. And so that's kind of going to put not a negative spin on it, but what it does is it says, hey, you're having trouble communicating in this relationship. Here's how we're going to highlight that. Or, hey, you're having this issue. Here's how you should highlight it. It'll also say, hey, here's a place you need to draw a boundary and end this relationship and move away from that. It'll show you that new path of moving forward and being able to be productive and see those healthy boundaries and see where you need to work on it. communication, balance. And it'll kind of help to see that. So hopefully everybody's being receptive. It really lends itself to a good, healthy heart-to-heart communication, time to like talk it out and see where everybody lands and be open and honest and find, you know, resolutions and solutions and all of that things. Or just decide it's better to agree to disagree and that it's time to part paths. That's also healthy. And sometimes you need to do those things. So, it's ruled by Aries. Or, no, I'm sorry, air. It's ruled by air, which again is with communication. That's why I said it is going to be a time when we're going to highlight, hey, in this relationship, you're having trouble communicating about this. So be receptive to that and don't take it as this is the end of the world, but take it as this is a good, healthy way to productively see a problem and work towards a solution. Libra is also ruled by masculine, so it's going to help. I almost want to say, instead of saying masculine, let's say yang, or that active, like that kind of energy. And so it's productive. It's going to tell you to do things. It's not inward. Hey, I mean, kind of, because it's about balance, but more so about the productive, forward moving. Here's your boundary. Here's where we open. Here's the questions. Here, move forward. Do something active and productive. So, and finding harmony between that outward and inward and doing something about it. Not just, hey, I need to be more balanced, but these are the things that you need to do. It's also peaceful and diplomatic. So it's not a harsh energy. Like Virgo, when Virgo comes in and says, here's the problem, it's like shining a sterile light, like a white glove that comes along and is like, there's still dust here, you have a problem. Libra, on the other hand, is a much softer energy. So it's going to show you how to balance. Like I said, if the situation is too serious, it's going to come in with a joke and lighten the mood and say, okay, now let's be lighter about the situation and move forward. And vice versa. If there's no seriousness in it, it's going to come in with that more serious energy and be like, okay, now it's time to be serious. You can't be joking all the time. So help find that balance. Same thing with play and work and all those different places where you find balance. So, and one thing that you do have to be cautious of when you're working with the Libra full moon, Libra energy in general, is manipulation. Because Libra is really good at coming in with the devil's advocate, that can also often cause people to be manipulated into kind of changing into, oh, okay, I guess. I mean, I was about to say everybody's seen The Devil's Advocate, but probably not. It's kind of an old movie. But you just come in with that opposite, like, what is it on the other side? And sometimes that grass greener on the other side is so seductive that you want to make those changes when you don't need to. Or you want to make other people make those changes when they don't need to. So that's just kind of something that you need to be aware of when you're going into these situations of communication. Don't let the greener grass on the other side seduce you or be seductive to other people, and let's keep it open and fair and, you know, real. So a spell that's good for the Libra full moon is one for inspiration. Oh, and because this comes with spring and it's kind of that time of year, this spell actually goes along with the chalk color festivals in India. And sorry, I have some notes about the spring festivals, and I was just looking to see if it was on my list. I don't think it's technically this time of year. But anyways, and using that to be your inspiration and kind of like send up this, grind up the chalk and send it up in this plume of chalk dust and kind of let that fall down. You can do, I saw a great thing on moon dust. What did she call it? I think it was moon dust. On a Summer's channel, Astaria Sen, I think it is. Yeah. And so she's got a great thing on that, but it could be that, and you send that up into the air. You use this fairy dust. There's a lot of different variations of dust that you can use. Really, it's normally like a white eggshells, chalk color of some kind. So you could use petals or whatever. But you send this dust up into the air to create this plume, and then you just sit down and relax in it and let that fall down around you and bring with it the energy of Libra's inspiration to help you see. Like if you're stuck in this zone, it's going to bring about the other side of that to inspire something different and help you see that balance, help you see the other side, help you see it from a different perspective. And so you can use this energy in that way. It's also a great time if you're looking to find balance or boundaries in your life, is to draw those lines, to think about where those lines are. Think about, between the different aspects of your life, between you and certain relationships, where are the lines and what boundaries do you hold? And are they healthy boundaries? Are they good boundaries? Are they helping you be productive? Are they helping you grow? And, I almost forgot. So not only do we have Venus at opposition to this moon, we also have, shuffle, what's called the Grand Trine. I just wanted to make sure I had so the moon, Mars, and Saturn are in trine from each other. So they make a triangle. And their energy kind of brings about this wisdom, this active wisdom. So now is a good time to seek out your elders, seek out that wisdom, find somewhere that, your elders are hanging out, whatever it may be, and ask them your questions, because right now they're also wanting to share that this productive exchange of energy in this trine is that, like, look, if you have a question from somebody who is more experienced, this is a great time to ask them. They're going to be really receptive to that right now. If you're looking for a mentor or something of that nature, this is also a great time. They're going to be accepting that, and you're going to get these answers that you're seeking. So let's make sure I covered everything. Balance, internal, external. Yeah, you're going to see. Yeah, I think that's everything. Just kind of recap, it's a super moon, so the moon is going to be very potent right now. The moon is in Libra, so it's going to bring that balance and harmony and help you kind of see things from the other side. The sun right now is in Aries, so we have this new beginning, fresh start, active. Aries is this really noble beginning, go, go, go energy, and it's really helpful when you're starting something new. Then we also have right now, this is the first full moon of spring. So it is that seed moon. It is that pink moon, that first color moon where we're starting to see the earth awake. And I know that's contradictory to the worm moon, but I mean, it's not the same thing. The earth is warming. It's just a little bit warmer now. But this is the first full moon in spring. So we're in a new season. We're starting new. We have begun this process and we're moving forward. Overall, you're going to see the highlights of the boundaries that you have. You're going to feel and see where you could be better communicating. And it's a soft light. It's not that harsh, crazy, like get it done right and do it like this, but a soft light where it's like, oh, let me hold your hand and we'll see you through this and we'll help you to find this harmony that you're seeking. So it's a great time to do spells that are associated with harmony. It's a great time to do spells for inspiration, like the one I mentioned. It's also a great time to do some reflection and allow that like I would do free journal writing, or maybe even some scrying, some open-ended meditations where you set out in your space and say, hey, spirit guides, show me what I need to see. This is a great time for that. So if you have any questions, let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notifications button and all that stuff. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'm always there to answer them. And yeah, I hope everybody's enjoying their first full moon of spring. So I toast to you and all you do. And I hope you have a fantastic day. We will see you soon.